armed and dangerous. This was the type of man Tite security hired and placed amongst the public. A man who was given the title of security guard, and along that title, a club, a gun, but no background check. Now let's discuss the events that brought us here today. The night of the attack. My client, Mr. Alway, went to the Wagga Bag to buy his kids an ice cream treat. He's a truck driver. He worked all day, got home for dinner, washed up, but the kids wanted something. So, as he's making his way down the aisles of the Wagga Bag, he picks up the ice cream and a few other things, and he goes to check out. He pays his groceries and is just making his way home to his kids when he gets stopped by the security guard. The security guard accuses him of stealing, which he adamantly denies. And just in case, he goes back inside to clear things up. The security guard grabs all the items and shakes them out of the bag. But of course, the items in the bag match the receipt. While inside the store, Mr. Arway also gets patted down. Nonetheless, Mr. Alway, flustered, confused, a little offended, bags all his items and just tries to make his way out the store. As he's crossing in front of the store, immediately he feels a hit behind the head. And then another, and then another, and then another. And he's being hit by the security guard with a nightstick. He is fighting to get away. He manages to run away and then gets shot in the hip. And he suffers multiple injuries. Now, who is the security guard and who does he work for? The security guard's name is Tom Burke, but we'll be back to him. And he works and was hired as a security guard by Tite Security, run by Chris Luger. Chris Luger is Tite Security. He is the only stockholder, the only owner, and the only manager. He hires and fires all security guards, and he oversees all operations, all 250 security guards. Now, what is the security guard's hiring process? In this case, Tom Burke one morning found an ad on the newspaper from Tite Security saying that they preferred people with disabilities. In the morning, he reads the ad. That same afternoon, he's in front of Chris Luger filling out a one-page application. Nonetheless, in this application, he discloses that he was previously military discharged and that he has been previously convicted of a crime. This same man had 3 previous assaults the year prior to being hired. Nonetheless, that same night, he receives a call from Chris Luger and he starts working. That same night, that same day that he filled out that application. Now, how did the security guard describe his work with Tite Security? He was given a nightstick, a .45 caliber, and handcuffs. What he wasn't given was a gun training by the company in how to use it. He didn't have to present any yearly test or any sort of licensing by the company. What he was told was to use necessary force. And he was told to work amongst the public. Someone working with the public that was armed and was dangerous. We carry the burden here today. And it's a burden of preponderance of the evidence. Meaning, is it more likely than not? Specifically, is it more likely than not that Tite Security and Mr. Arway should be liable for the actions of their employee, of their security guard? Now, we have 3 things to prove to you today to show this liability. 1, the defendant, Tite Security, negligently hired Mr. Burke, the security guard. 2, the defendant was negligent in supervising Mr. Burke. And 3, the Mr. Burke was an employee of the defendant the night of the attack, and that his actions were in the furtherance of the business, Tite Security, of his employer. At the end of this case, we are confident that you will choose the verdict that is supported by the facts and the law. The Tite Security was owned and operated by Mr. Luger at the time of the attack, and that he be found liable for hiring and placing in the public someone that was armed and dangerous. Thank you.